The Power Unknown to God, written by Lieutenant Colonel T. Srinivasulu. My experiences during the awakening of Kundalini energy. Dedication. Salutations to the women who roamed half naked on the streets of Srinagar 700 years back in the Kashmir Valley of India. Salutations to the greatest genius ever produced from the ancient valley of Shaivism. Salutations to the vanished mendicant whose funeral rites could never be performed due to clash of religious claims to the dead body. Salutations to the epitome of womanhood. Obeisance to that grand yogini, Laleshwari or Lal Dev or Lala. Salutations from the author. My illusion is this energy. My intellect is this energy. My egoism is this energy. My mind is this energy. My body is this energy. My love is this energy. My breath is this energy. My pride is this energy. My lust is this energy. My greed is this energy. My breath is this energy. My life force is this energy. My life is this energy. My dream is this energy. My sleep is this energy. My humility is this energy. Space is this energy. Time is this energy. My salutation is this energy. Truth absolute is this energy. Consciousness absolute is this energy. Bliss absolute is this energy. Mysterious is this energy. Inexhaustible is this energy. This is called Kundalini energy, the power unknown to God. Blessings from His Holiness Sri Swami Sahajananda Tirtha. The path chosen by a human being to meet the Creator is always unique to that individual, and the Supreme Divinity's grace is always present, no matter which path is taken. The idea of the divinity is unique and different from every individual, as the nature of earthly knowledge possessed by each person differs. Let me illustrate with a few examples so that this idea can be better understood. An individual may worship the divinity as a paramour, as a friend, as a father, as a mother, as a son, as a daughter, or within the parameters of any other earthly human relationships. The idea can also be applied to other forms of human relationships. For example, a person may visualize the Almighty or the divinity as an enemy who needs to be defeated on a battlefield, or as a military genius who can conquer any foe very easily. Similarly, an individual may visualize the divinity to be the perfect teacher who can impart absolute knowledge. In addition, the divinity can also be visualized within the parameters of various others, such as a supreme power without any form, or as a male who is extremely handsome, youthful, and all-powerful, or as the merciful mother or father or brother. This list is not exhaustive in any way. There are billions of human beings living on this planet right now. Billions have passed away and billions will take birth. And among these billions of people, and the idea of divinity will always be unique to each individual. The Supreme Divinity or the Almighty showers its grace exactly as per the emotion or temperament of each individual, so that the person is totally satisfied within the self, and so that their mind becomes absolutely tranquil. As the mind becomes tranquil, the spirit dwelling within the self gets a glimpse of its own divine nature, reflected in the tranquil waters of the mind. This is the final objective of all yoga systems. What takes place after this is the final journey towards self-realization, which required a union with the Supreme Divinity. As per the yoga texts, this final salvation for a human being takes place at the will of the Almighty because there are no more yoga techniques left. Hence, absolute self-surrender to God is the only option. The path one chooses is only a means to an end, and the end is God. As a result of the unique path chosen by a person, the experiences encountered by the person along this path are unique too. However, every person, although unique in their character, does exhibit common traits with their fellow beings. As a result, certain experiences along the path to immortality do appear to be common. Based on these common experiences, different yoga systems and philosophies have been developed that are suitable to different types of people as per their temperament. Therefore, a yoga system or a philosophy or anything else is also only a means to an end, which is God. The only purpose of human existence is to join the individual spirit or soul with the universal soul or God. As per the yoga texts, the necessary unique cosmic mechanism has been provided only in the human body. The existence of the cosmos or the world around a human being is illustratory in nature. It is like a film projected on a screen. This awareness comes to a person gradually after a prolonged period of practicing yoga coupled with blessings from a self-realized venerable teacher or a guru. This process of self-realization can occur in a human mind. Once self-realization has occurred, the spirit dwelling within the self of a person realizes its divine nature. In a nutshell, a person becomes capable enough to exercise supernatural control over the physical or psychic forces that exist in the cosmos, if they so desire. However, since the nature of existence itself is illusionary, this necessity may not arise. Moreover, the self-realized individual no longer conceives himself or herself as having a separate existence from the universal soul or God. There is nothing meaningful left for a human being to do in this world other than to strive for self-realization. If a human being has any other idea about life, it is only due to nescience. Hence, the process of self-realization is unique in the sense that it is the only natural thing to be achieved. The divinity or the Supreme Almighty has ensured a way out of illusionary nature of reality for human being by providing the necessary biological mechanism inside the human body. One can either call it a cosmic mechanism or a mechanism of the divine will. However, this shift towards focusing on one's inner world does not normally occur until one receives knocks or jolts in their life in the form of worldly problems. In fact, based on the past actions of a person, the world itself rewards or conspires to reward the person by creating worldly problems so that this shifts towards focusing on the inner world occurs. Any individual who dreams of the lofty ideal in life to pursue the spiritual path needs to undergo a few knocks in their normal life. Obviously, no human being likes this unpleasant idea. Everyone wants to achieve the state of self-realization under the conditions of an easy and happy life. If life had been so happy and blissful, who would want to leave it or pursue something unknown? For any individual to shift his or her focus away from the external life and turn it inward, something needs to happen externally in their normal life that causes them to do so. This is the bitter pill that needs to be swallowed by an individual before the process of reconciliation with the divinity can begin. Blessed indeed are those souls who have swallowed this drop of ambrosia in the disgust of a bitter pill. From the earthly point of view, when a person does not succeed in life, whether financially or professionally or any other manner, the person is treated by society as being a failure. In fact, even the individual loses self-confidence due to their failed life. Further, a person may face several other problems like the loss of near and dear ones and the loss of wealth, etc. Any major untoward event that occurs in the life of a person can be categorized as this proverbial bitter pill. However, at this crucial juncture, if the focus is shifted internally, one can say that the individual has managed to turn the tide in the right direction. This does not mean that he or she tries to connect his or her mistakes in the illusionary external world by again trying to succeed financially or professionally. If this is the case, the focus has not shifted at all. The focus has to shift towards the divine which is present within the self. Once the individual is able to achieve self-realization, he or she will have all the power to exercise complete control over the physical and psychic phenomenon that exist in the illusionary external world. As a result, petty issues that were once conceived to be bitter pills will no longer concern him or her now. In fact, the individual will be able to see that those same bitter pills cause them to achieve something far more extraordinary. Hence, such a person who has managed to turn failure into a grand success is a blessed indeed. Every mother too faces this problem while administrating medicine to her child who has fallen ill. The pill needs to be sugar-coated, otherwise the baby will create havoc to avoid it. With a sugar-coated pill, the baby does not even know what it has consumed. The baby remains happy while the disease is cured. Similarly, every individual spirit or soul has been affiliated with the disease known as nescience or ignorance of the divine self. However, it is the supreme, primordial force or the divinity or the God or the Almighty that best knows how to administer the required dose of medicine to a person. Awakening of the Kundalini energy results in a profound impact on the mind. It increases the balance of the mind to a very high degree in a practitioner of yoga. Furthermore, it also increases the awareness of the mind in a very comprehensive manner. What happens to a practitioner of yoga after the Kundalini energy is awakened has been very clearly explained by the author. Although it is a very complex process, the author has effectively succeeded in presenting the ideas pertaining to the reactions that occur in a body, the mind, and also in external daily life. These ideas are not mere theory and are backed by his own direct experiences. This book is not an academic debate of the scriptures, philosophies, and doctrines. It is mostly based on direct experiences. Somehow, the author has managed to nail down the answers to some of the profound questions being faced by humanity. Whether the yoga traditions have been violated or not by describing the personal experiences is a matter of private business. At least, it has no negative impact on humanity. Hence, there is no need for any criticism whatsoever on this count. This book has been written purely from an altruistic point of view. Many a time the author referred the manuscript to me due to inherent fears about the validity of the theory and the authenticity of the experiences. Here, I would like to say only one thing. The supreme primordial force knows best about each and every vibrations in the cosmos, for it itself is the very vibration. Let me say once again that this book is not meant for any intellectual amusement. It's a vibration of the very primordial force. The author has only acted as a medium through whom an idea has been expressed. There is nothing new as such written by the author in this book. However, what makes it interesting is the way the author has managed to present age-old truths. As I understand, the author wrote this book during moments of inspiration. Since it has been written during inspired moments, it is not the author who has written this book. Rather, the words are the very manifestation of the supreme primordial force. May this book cut as under the knots of infatuation and burn down the gigantic pile of nescience that exist in the mind of a practitioner of yoga. May it bring the first ray of light and remain a beacon of hope to the aspiring mind of the general reader. Sri Swami Sahajananda Tirtha.